We welcome you back to the Two Guys Named Chris show. Just had a story in a Demm report about a cop that went into a convenience store, needed to use a bathroom, had to do some number two, had to do a toozy. And he took his gun belt off, hung it over the door, left the gun laying on the...
Left the gun, put on the gun belt on the way out on a call.
Yep. And then two guys go in, find the gun. One guy says, I can't touch that. I'm on probation. Other guy says, I'll take it. I'm not on probation. They do. They sell it on Cash App within a few minutes.
$40.
$40 for it. Well, now the cop's in trouble. It's like, you left your gun on the toilet bowl. A good friend of ours, I can't name who he is, his son worked at a movie theater and found a cop's gun in the bathroom of the movie theater while he worked there and turned it in to the man. So I guess what would happen, you're in trouble if people find out about that, if you're the cop, right? You have to keep control.
I think you may get a demerit on your record. I don't think anyone's ever been let go because of it, right?
No, it's just but that's a pretty bad mistake. You'd think you'd keep up your gun at all times. If you leave the gun...
There's so many things on that belt now, though, if you look at any officer or deputy.
But the gun's got to be the most important.
Yeah.
You've got to have that gun. That's the one that'll do the most damage. I feel like, at the very least, you're on desk duty for a month, you know? You know how they do in shows and on movies.
You've been watching Hill Street Blues again.
All right, you're on desk duty. That's it. That's what I would say to it. There were some guns stolen in Australia. In fact, thieves stole 27 handguns worth over $134,000 from a firearms museum in Australia. That's where it was being they were being housed. And the police officer said they cased this place for so long, they were really expert about this.
27 handguns were stolen from the museum. The offenders have shown some very good planning and ability to escape the scene fairly quickly.
They went in with, of course, they were covered from head to toe. I've seen surveillance video of it. They went in, just smashed the things and grabbed all the guns.
Was the museum closed at the time or open?
It was closed, and they were able to get in and get out within just moments, and they got 27 guns. I saw a thing.
Then what? What do you do with them?
I don't know. We sell them on Cash App, I guess, or sell them on...
would you have to get them out of the country? You would think they're fairly...
Dark web? Sell them on the dark web?
Maybe, but they're probably pretty well known.
And in Australia, there are way fewer guns.
Much stricter gun laws.
Dean, you're talking about finding a cop's gun. Go ahead.
Hi, guys. So I was part of the physical security of the U.S. Embassy in Kabul, Afghanistan.
My goodness.
We had a pretty good-sized guard force.
Yeah.
And so some of the people actually had to be Afghan citizens. We would not arm them, but back in the teens, there was a big thing about green on blue incidents where Afghan citizens were shooting U.S. soldiers in the back of the head or turning machine guns on them and stuff like that. So there was nothing worse than when somebody on your guard force would leave their pistol belt in a bathroom and you turn around and here comes an Afghan citizen with one of our pistols walking straight at you. Oh. And you're like, oh, my God, here we go. You know, you're expecting a shootout at the OK Corral.
Jeez.
So it's a pretty serious thing, people leaving their pistols laying around.
I'd say.
It's terrifying.
That is.
Scenario.
In that situation, certainly. Thank you, Dean. Man. Appreciate it. If you found a gun...
You could tell some stories.
Yeah. If you're in the bathroom at the stop and go and you find a gun on the back of the toilet, I would give it to the gentleman behind the...
Would you touch it? I don't know what... I mean, I don't know that you probably should and get it out of there and then tell the clerk.
I'd use toilet paper.
You would?
I'd get some and pick it up
no
that
fingerprints.
way.
I would drop it in the tank.
What?
Why?
You watching The Godfather again? The first one?
You drop it in the tank, and immediately whoever's it was would come back in and be like, "Hey, man, is there a gun in there?" And you'd have to explain then.
Dropping in the tank?
I dropped it in the tank.
I panicked.
Why would you do that?
I panicked. I would probably give it to. I don't know if I would touch it, but I'd want to get it out of there as soon as possible in case a kid came along. I would probably pick it up and hold it really gently by two fingers pointing to the ground.
Put it in the beer cooler and call 911?
Yes. I'd probably give it to the clerk and say, this gun was in your bathroom. But then you don't know.
I wouldn't do that. I think you need to be the one to make the call.
So call 911 and say, listen, there's a gun in here.
I think it's easier.
Yeah, probably right. Of course, you're going to have to stay for a few minutes while they get there.
Yeah, maybe you go out and say, shut down your bathroom. There's a gun in there. I just found a gun in there.
Let's call 911 together.
Yeah, but then if you say that to a clerk, they might think you're trying to rob the place.
Well, I would stand in front of the bathroom door and hold my hands up and say,
Do not go in there. Woo!
I told you about the best bowel movement I ever had
You
yesterday.
did,
here.
yeah.
I
That
would
poor Holden Beach Pier.
I would stand up with my hands in the air and say, "Do not go in that bathroom, whatever you do." And I'd call 911 and wait for cops to arrive.
But if you're on the road, you're trying to get to the Hootie and the Blowfish show, you're going to be late.
Well, but I think you're right that you have to be the one to stay, and it's very maybe you take it out of there and you say we need to call 911 because there was a gun in the bathroom, and I'm going to stand here with it until cops arrive. Otherwise, you're leaving it in the hands of the clerk, and you don't know what's going to happen there. You have no idea. That's a good question. If you just find a gun like that. The other crime story is from a woman who is on. She's got a show called The 1,000-Pound Sisters on TLC. That's the Learning Channel. We're learning about 1,000-pound sisters.
What do we know about these two?
They became TV reality show stars a few years ago, I guess, and it's two women who weighed. They don't look like they weigh 1,000 pounds each to me.
I think they've lost. That's part of it. I believe they've lost weight.
Have you ever seen?
Combined, were they 1,000 pounds?
I think they were 1,000 each at one point. Now
Yeah.
they've lost a bunch of weight because
It's a hit show for them.
Yes.
1,000 a piece. Do you know how big that is?
Yes. Yes. Yes, I do.
Yes, I know what I'm saying.
Yes, I do. Maybe you're right. Maybe combined they were over 1,000 pounds because now they look to be about, I'd say combined 800 pounds. I'd say they were in the 400 range now when I see them. Anyway, it's an enormous hit show on TLC, but one of the women on the show, Amy Slayton Halterman, was at a petting zoo, was at one of these like places where you drive through and see animals.
Oh, yeah, a safari.
Safari in Memphis, Tennessee. And when she was there, she was bitten by a camel, which is, obviously terrible. So they called 911 to say that she had been bitten by the camel, and she went over to her car and opened the door to try to get some first aid out of the car. And right as cops arrived, they went to assist her and smelled what they said was overwhelming evidence of drugs inside her vehicle. And they found mushrooms all inside the vehicle, shrooms, and said, "Well, you're coming with us. We found a bunch of drugs in your car. Now these are illegal." She was there. She was there with a guy. This is Memphis, Tennessee. And she said, "I'm famous. I'm one of the 1,000-pound sisters." And they were like, "Well, sorry, you're going to jail." She has been bonded out now, and the guy now in charge of the safari park says, "And by the way, my camel didn't bite her. The injury was inconsistent with a camel bite." And they're saying wasn't that either. So
did her sister bail her out?
Yeah, her sister bailed her out, so she's back. But now they're worried that the show is going to be in trouble because she's been found with mushrooms. You ever see
that could be a good plot device.
Jeff, you know something about the 1,000-pound sisters? I've heard of the show, never seen it. Go ahead.
Yeah, so my wife and I watch it religiously, along with our two other friends. We've kind of watched it from the beginning, and it's actually crazy. So they both collectively weighed about 1,000 pounds.
Okay. When
they first started the show, and then the one that got arrested, Amy, she had the gastric bypass surgery first and kind of lost some weight, and then Tammy was the one that has for years and years. It was close to. I mean, she almost died. She was in a rehab facility and was close to, I think, like 750 pounds at one point. And then finally was able to lose the weight. She got married at that facility to someone else that was living there as well. And unfortunately, he had passed away. But she actually was able to have the procedure done and lose a ton of weight. But it was crazy just watching her process throughout it's like been 6 seasons.
Wow.
But she almost died and somehow lost the weight and is honestly doing better than Amy.
Yeah.
But there's other siblings on this show as well, and they've had the procedures done as well and lost the weight. But they're an interesting family. Just seeing them on family vacations and stuff like that. Amy has probably got to screw loose a little bit, but it's very entertaining.
Well,
would you say, as a fan of the show, are you surprised, not surprised that one of them was busted with shrooms?
Not really surprised. I do feel a little bad. I mean, I think she's got 2 young boys.
The boys were with her, by the way. So the cops had to take her off.
It's mushrooms. I mean, that's barely illegal, right?
That's my understanding. That was my understanding. And I didn't know they smelled. The cops said they smelled an aroma of mushrooms coming out of the car. Overwhelming. Thank you very much, Jeff. Appreciate that. I told you my one experience with shrooms.
Well, you'd never had them.
I've never seen one.
You paid for them, but never got them.
Correct. A guy I knew in college said...
They still owe you.
Yes. He said, "I'm going to get the shrooms And I said, okay, make sure you come back. He goes, he's going to want me to do them with him right there when I go get him. I said, make sure you come back. Never saw him again. He went across campus. I never saw him again.
There's a movie.
That right. Where are my shrooms?
There's another movie.
Where's my shrooms?
Where's my shrooms?
That is a great movie idea.
Where's my shrooms, man?
Place is called Claude County Safari Park, and the owner said, as God is my witness, my camels don't bite.
Oh, really?
What is this? And she showed the arm. He's like, that's not my camel.
Well, they're big creatures. I mean, you would think they'd leave a big bite radius, all right?
I remember once a guy got bit by, or a woman got bit by a camel. They had to do like the teeth indention marks. Remember that? They had to test whether or not it was the camel or not. And again, in that case, the safari park owner said, my camels do not bite. Although I think they certainly probably could bite.
Unless you're trying, if you're trying to feed them. That's probably against the rules, but who knows?
Crime report. They're trying to crack down all over the country, and this is right up Chris Demm's alley. Now he's seeing it all the time. Speeders through residential neighborhoods and school districts. It's happening.
My hot button,
all
man.
over the place.
You know, the speed limit on our street is 25.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody, unless you live there.
Yeah.
Nobody does 25.
Right.
Because we live near, we live kind of on a cut-through street.
Yeah.
And there's a middle school at the other end.
They're racing to get to school.
Yep.
They're trying to drop the kids off in time to school. My daughter.
Or get them in the afternoon.
Yes.
Get them over to piano practice.
God, yesterday my daughter had a cross-country meet, probably 30 minutes from her school, and she drove to it. And
Alone?
yes. And then we got behind her on the way home and followed her. She didn't know. And so we were nervous just nervous because we were on I-40, and it was a long drive. And she did not know we were behind her. She did a good job, but it was a real test. I was like, golly, this is because she's alone.
Yeah.
She's got her license, There's one woman just here in our neighborhood, in our town, they dropped a residential road speed limit from 45 to 35. This is Griffith Road, which is pretty high for a street with homes on it. So they dropped it down to 35. But one of the
That's rare. Good.
well, they did it. They went to the town council and they've made the decision to go from 45 to 35. But one of the residents in the neighborhood says, so what?
That ain't gonna do anything. They still gonna fly. They still gonna fly. They're not gonna slow down at all.
Anyway, slow down.
She's right.
Yeah. She's got a shirt on, says Thug Life, but she speaks for all of us. Anyway.
She's right.
Nobody wants to see this. Old Thug Life there knows what she's talking about, and Chris Demm knows it. Nobody wants to slow down.
That's why I tried to invent the pop-up speed bump.
I like that idea.
I still love that.
I had a great invention for pickleball players the other day, but nobody cared.
You're not going to find two more that do right here.
Is it like in the athletic supporter family?
No, it uses AI technology.
Oh.
I'll tell you this. In pickleball, all the time, a ball's coming straight at your face, hard, okay? Firefight, back and forth. And a lot of times you'll hit one and go, oh, that was going to be out. That ball was going out. So what I says is we need AI technology to record every single shot. And when you hit the ball, you zoom in, and from science and trajectory, you know whether the ball would be out or not. Because a lot of times you'll turn to your partner and say, was that going to be out? And he'll go, it's going to be close. I want to know where the ball would have landed had I not hit it.
Let me get this straight. You want to use AI to track every pickleball in the United States of America.
It's a really niche market.
For those who have too much money.
And it changes the game not a whit.
Not a whit.
But because at least in tennis you can challenge if a ball is in or out.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, once you hit it, that's it, though. We hit it. I mean, it's like it hits my paddle, and then I go, I shouldn't have hit that. And then I'll turn to my partner and go, was that going to be out? And he'll be like, it could be close.
Call in the AI.
It's going to be close. Let's
Call
see
in the robots.
Yeah, then you know whether it would be or not. I may buy the lobster. I might.
What?
I don't know. Lobster's a ball machine that costs $3,000 that feeds me balls, and then I can just hit over and over and over again.
Did you make this decision before the big Labor Day argument or after?
Yeah, really.
That was before. Now it doesn't look like I'll be buying the lobster. But I saw a friend of mine had one,
Lobster.
and I thought, well, you can make it lob if you want to. They call it the lobster, but it just bzz, bzz, and feeds balls. Can't tell you how many balls I've been fed. And
Sure. How many balls does it hold?
100. Do 100 at a time.
Do you have 100?
Not yet, but I think it comes with the 50 balls or 100
Is
balls.
the lobster mobile?
No, you sit it where you want it, but then it can move like a tank or something. Spray
Like a
the ball.
turret?
Well, because
Yeah.
I'm trying to think
Yeah.
of where you'd have to go do this on a pickleball court alone.
Oh, certainly. Yeah, you have to be out there on the court. Yeah. And I've thought about it, but that was before the fight with my wife where we got into we're spending too
Because you
much
said
money.
she spent too much money. Could you go halvesies with the diesel?
Thought about that too. I thought about bringing it up even to 4 people and say, because it's $3,000 for the best one. So we'd have to spend like, $800 a piece, and then it's like you get it one weekend and I get it. It's like sharing custody of the lobster, and back and forth.
And this is for pickleball.
Yeah.
Something that's supposed to be quote unquote fun.
We don't have fun playing. We do not
Yeah,
have.
you passed fun a long time ago.
There's no fun playing pickleball. You know that. The other crime story here is it goes right along with the people speeding through neighborhoods. Is now I've seen a lot of reports on how many people are speeding past stop school buses as the school year has started. A ton of them.
Look, you know what?
A ton of them.
We're just not paying attention.
I think people
on the road
I
anymore.
think people see the buses and like, I'm going past. I don't care. They just don't.
That's insane to
Either
me.
I'm late or I'm on the phone.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of that. The report they did on the news showed like 5 cars passing a stop school bus. It's not like you just scoot past it because you didn't see it. These are way in advance, and they just all go past. One woman was out there shouting on the street, like, there goes one, there goes a second one, like Thug Life here.
Mm-hmm.
And they interviewed her, and she goes, ain't gonna stop it. Ain't nothing you can
It's just
do.
infuriating.
Nothing you can do to stop it. They had a sheriff a cop in Florida saying, they're cracking down.
Passing a school bus with the stop arm extended is not just a traffic violation. It puts children in danger, which is why this isn't just about following the law. It's about protecting our kids and giving parents the peace of mind they deserve.
He's right. He's 100% right. I mean, there are so many tragedies with passing stop school buses, and that was drilled into our heads in driver's education when I was 15. I guess it still is. I hope.
You hope.
But the video now, because of course the buses have a video camera on them now, and they showed car after car passing. That's bad. Now they used to say to us in driver's ed, that's the worst thing you can do. Oh, and I couldn't believe
speeding through a school zone.
Yes.
Yeah, they were the one.
those
and
were
1A.
the two. Those were the two. And so what do you do?
That ain't gonna do anything. They still gonna fly. They still gonna fly. They're not gonna slow down at all.
Do you know?
She speaks for all of us.
I saw that story. This is so tragic. We should bring this up with our attorney, Lisa Lanier. There was one case a year or two ago where somebody sped through a stopped school bus. The arm was down, or the stop sign was out, the lights were on. 3 kids were crossing the road, all hit, all killed, between the ages of like 11 and 7. And it was awful. One family devastated. The person that hit him got 4 years in prison. 4. I said it should be 40. I mean, my God, what are we doing here? That's always the case with me. I'm so emotional about
Very
justice.
emotional.
I'm emotional. This guy that hit those 2 hockey players should be in jail for the rest of his life. I'm very interested to see how much time he gets. Drunk driving aggressively and hits 2 bicyclists, kills them both, and it's such a waste. It's so sad. I'd like to ask Lisa Lanier how much time she thinks those guys, because I think they should
It's going to make you madder.
I know it will, because it won't be much. It should be, don't you think it should be like 25 years for doing
that's the crime won't be the crime is what?
I know.
Negligent
drunk drive for him.
negligent homicide.
Yeah,
or drunk,
and drunk
well, I mean,
driving.
yeah, maybe drunk driving too.
Heroin Scott, you're talking about the kids in the school buses. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, but you've also got to remember people that diddle kids get very little time as well, which is sickening. But also, you got to look at the way when we grew up, you ran to get on the school bus. You know what I'm saying? Because you didn't want to be late. Now, these kids just stroll to the school bus. Like, they'll take 10 minutes to get on the school bus. And you're behind them trying to get to work. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not going to speed by no school bus, but I can understand the frustration of some of these people where they do it because these kids just don't care about anybody or anything but themselves.
Man, I hadn't thought of that angle.
Never thought about blaming the kids.
Me neither.
Game changer.
They're
Pick it up, first grader. Let's go.
I never thought of that either.
You with the SpongeBob backpack.
Move
it.
Move it.